Hi everyone, this is AutoML training community meeting on 26th of January. Welcome everyone. So I think we can start today maybe with introduction because I think it's a common practice across all the communities. So does anyone from today's call want to introduce themselves, because I can see a lot of people, new people here.
Hello.
Yeah, hi Richard.
Yeah, I can introduce myself. I think some of you know me already. I'm coming back to the community. Initially, I worked on the Katib as well as the training operators 2 years ago. So I'm excited to come back and contribute.
Yeah, it's
So
great to see you again. Yeah, it was a fun time.
Richard. Richard is our all-timer. Welcome.
Hey, John.
Yeah, it'd be great to continue. So anyone else, or we can go on?
Oh. David is also here.
Yeah, hi David.
Hello, hi, sorry. I'm Dan, I work at CERN, and yeah, I'm now trying to contribute more to Kubeflow and to Katib, and I have opened one PR recently, and yeah, hoping to complete that. The PR is about exposing logs of Katib jobs to the UI, and yeah, this has been requested by users at CERN, and we would like to contribute to that.
Yeah, that's great. I'm going to discuss about it today. David, do you want to introduce yourself as well, or we can move on? Yeah, I think we can. Yeah, it's fine. Let me just share my screen. Okay, so a couple of things to discuss today. So the first one is about the release. So I think for Katib, I created the release yesterday. So it's 0.13 release candidate 0. So it should be right there. So I think I have already published the images and we updated the SDK. So everything should be fine here. And we hope we're not going to face any like issues or bug fixes there. So we already have one cherry pick. I think from so this one, just updating the Python version in SDK. So I'm going to merge this PR. It's from UK, and I think we probably need to create another release candidate in the future, not right now. This is just a simple update to update the currently supported version for Python for our SDK. So do we have any other like items or any other things that we want to merge to 0.13 release, which can come in mind? I don't know. We probably should merge before the official 1.5 release of Kubeflow.
Are some of the like major features seem to be done, but are there any dependencies or anything that you see that might need to be looked at, whether it's cert manager or anything else along those lines?
Yeah, I would say that cert manager is a huge update for us as well, because we're using the V1 version. Other than that, we have like two breaking changes, which we actually mentioned in the slides before. So basically, we updated the label for the namespace and the metrics collector for the metrics collector, and also one of the APIs. So we're going to, since we're going to have a blog post, I would say that probably we will just mention these two new features, not new features, just the breaking changes for our users, to make sure that they're going to properly update their namespace. Does it sound good, Josh? Because I believe we're going to make the blog post, right, for the 1.5.
Yeah, so that's a really good question. You have led the community. This group has in delivering blog posts on particular releases that are standalone, that are not part of the community overall release. And I think that's a really valuable practice that you've done, because you can go into more specifics about the details So I would love to highlight the top 2 or 3 features from AutoML and training in the community blog post, but then link to blog posts for these working groups that are more specific on the features that you bring out. If you have the cycles for that, if not, fine. But
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's totally okay to just point the new features there because we have already done it before with our presentation recording. And so I think I've also like created the changelog for all of the major features here. So it's not a problem for us to just make it top 3 of them.
Great.
Yeah, so I would just say regarding to the changelog, it would be great to get an initial review on that because I just tried to highlight all of the PRs here. And I mean, maybe if you think that we can probably make it smaller or it doesn't, I mean, it's fine to just merge it as it is. We can.
Well, here's the thing, like implementation of the validation of early stopping, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're not really into the deeps of this, you may not know that increases accuracy and potentially saves you infrastructure, right? Or whatever. Yep. So they're like the titles in the change log are great, but having a little bit more user or executive level kind of benefits, that's where I see the blog post kind of helps us bring out, maybe some of the value on some of these features that come out. And that's why I think having a blog post by the cat team, even if it's a half a page, that says, here, look at this feature, these are why it's important. I think that's valuable.
Yeah, I think it's a great point. Yeah, I definitely agree with you, just to point to the users why they actually want to like use this new release, right, and deploy them, and how, for example, like how leader election can help them to perform the infrastructure. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, how leader election helps with HA, provides higher availability. I mean, that's the couple sentences that give people. And Richard, on the Google side, just so you know, one of the things that we've kind of been asking for and we've had trouble getting, so I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I'm going to, because you're here, is, when we post up these blog posts, it would be nice to get the statistics about who are reading these, right? Or how many people are reading the blog posts. So we can see kind of what type of traction we're getting release over release. Right, so the unified training operator did a blog post last release. It would be interesting that if there was another blog post for 1.5 for the training operator or AutoML, if we could see if we're getting more readers.
Okay, who's owning the I guess the website? Is that where the blog post is?
Taya is potentially the one that has access to those statistics. And, so I'm just giving you a heads up that if you see that conversation going on, I think it's helpful for the people that are doing the work in the community to see that type of progress.
Okay, sure. I can bring that up.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, I think it's been a long discussion, almost around like a year, that we still don't see like the Google Analytics from our Kubeflow website and for our blogs. Yeah, and the question is how we can like get this from the Google side, right?
So along those lines, do we have actual usage statistics from people who downloaded and installed?
We have it internally in Google, right, Josh? So it's not open for the community.
I don't think we've seen it from I don't think we've published it to the community. I haven't seen it. I think Google
we've never done it, so we've never done it before. Yeah, maybe you can, I don't know, because the question is like, will it be possible for the community to get this information from Google side, or it's still only like an internal process which we cannot like get this information, because this is very, I think, valuable to see, for example, for the documentation. So which pages are like the most like the most popular one, and which can be like, for example, just deprecated. And because currently the documentation, even for KDIP, can be improved. And we don't know how to improve them, because we don't really understand which kind of pages are interested for the users. So
Okay, I can bring that up with in my meeting with him.
sounds good. Yeah, so any other questions to the release? So I think this require additional testing from the distributions, because we made some updates for the components, for example, like CERT generator, and some of the components have been updated as well. So do we think, do we want to merge anything else for the 0.13 for KDIP, or maybe John, what do you think? Does it like this feature look good for us?
Yeah, I think we are good. Yeah,
okay.
The thing is, I think with respect to training, I haven't got the confirmation yet. So I think we can discuss it later too.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think just to close this out, I look at 3 themes that you're delivering on. One of them is improving the accuracy of models. And I think we can talk about the early stopping as something that kind of helps do that. Infrastructure utilization improvements, right? Again, potentially that validation for early stopping helps along those lines. And better availability with the HA leader election. There might be other top features there, but those 3 themes are actually, I think, pretty good, right?
Yep, makes sense. Yeah, I think we can just top up them in our release blog. Okay, I think we probably, so from my understanding, the official 1.5 will be around March. So maybe once we start distribution testing, we can make the official 0.13 for KDIP around maybe end of February or start of March. My suggestion is. Yeah, because everything else, we don't have any pending PRs or any work that should be done before the release. Yep, sounds good. So other things for the KDIP side, I think. So Dejan, I know that you created the first PR. I think it's where is it? Yes, this one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so we probably this is a great thank you so much for doing this, by the way. Yeah, because I think, yeah, again, I can see that many users, not only in CR, but many other users also ask about this feature. And so he's continually like creating new issues about relating to the separate pages for the trials. So yeah, I'm not sure if Kamonos is here right now. He's not here. So yeah. So from my understanding, this PR just implementing just the page for the trial, right? With the overview. That's it, right?
Exactly. Yes. Instead of a pop-up box as it was until now. Yeah.
Okay. So did we, by the way, created the list of the issues related to this proposal? Yeah, I think Kamonos created a couple of them, right?
Yes, I went through them. Yeah.
Yeah, but probably once you create the page, probably we should split it to the small PRs, like maybe implementing the details in one PR, like logs in another PR, YAML in another PR. Make it easier to review for us.
Exactly. Yeah, that would be better. I agree.
And yeah, about the logs, I think we discussed a little bit about it on the previous meeting. How you're going to actually get these logs from the for example, from the container, from the training jobs, which include not on only one container. For example, like TF operator or PyTorch or like, I don't know, Argo workflow. So basically, you can use Experiment API to determine the primary container to get these logs. So I would say that all of our current APIs should be sufficient to get these logs. Yeah, and maybe in the first step we can at least get the logs only from the primary container, and then we can figure out if users want to also see the logs from the workers and from other containers, right?
Yes, I agree. We could start simple and go with the primary container, and then we can expand. I'm checking the APIs and hope soon I'll be able to prototype something. So we'll be in touch on that as well.
Sure. Yeah, because the question is like, since we have 3 metrics collectors right now, we have std_out, file metrics collector, and tf event, and all of them a little bit different. Some of them, they don't like print the logs in the output. Yeah, maybe we can just start with the simplest one, or just the default one, std_out, and then just iterate on the others like metrics collectors.
Yes, I agree. I agree. And yeah, as you were saying, like, yeah, we could have a separate PR for details and for YAML, but this first PR had to be huge because many things had to change. Yeah,
because it's like separate page.
Yes.
Yeah, because the problem is with the new UI, still we haven't yet deprecated the old one, and we have this project which is still open. Because the problem is like we still do not implement all the features in the new UI. And I'm not sure that Kubernetes has the cycles right now for doing this. Yeah, because there are some things that we definitely need to fix before we can completely deprecate the old UI. For example, we don't have a dedicated page for NAS experiments, and we don't have like the config map editor, which helps you to like edit the config maps with the trials in place. Yeah, there are like a couple of open issues here, and probably in the next release, we should maybe focus on the UI changes. Maybe some of them can be, I don't know, prioritized from our side. But I would say maybe in the next 0.14 release for Knative, we should completely deprecate the old UI. Yeah, does it sound good to others?
Yes, to me.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, only the question is how we can find like the cycles to fix it before 0.14. But yeah, would be great to see. Yeah, let me put the project here. Yeah, I will just review this PR in the couple of weeks, next weeks, and yeah, we can just iterate on them.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Do you have any questions? Maybe any questions to the APIs or to the implementation?
Not at the moment. No.
Okay.
I have a question on this feature request.
Yeah, sure.
So sorry if I don't know the actual operations of this, but as you're doing hyperparameter tuning, and now we have a screen for each slide, or a screen for each hyperparameter run, right? How often are you going to go into that, and how much time is that going to save? I'm just trying to put this is a really cool new feature. I'm trying to figure out, okay, how much time is having this feature going to save the user, typically from the manual process that they would have today? What would they have to do? Go to kubectl and do a describe or something like that? And so that's cumbersome, right? Or you have to be an advanced user.
Yes, exactly. You described it well. So we had a couple of users, and then they were starting using Knative. And then, especially in the beginning, things break. So they create a job, and the job fails, and they have no idea why it failed. And then I tell them to use kubectl logs, but it takes a while for them to get used to Kubernetes. So the idea, if they could have logs on the UI, that would save them a lot of time to actually develop things they need.
So you're going to save them time first from having to train them on this low-level CLI.
Yes.
That then they have to remember periodically every time they come back to it. But the other thing is now they bring up this detail very quickly for any of the runs. So you're saving them kind of two ways. I'm just trying to say, is that 10 minutes, whatever, per try, or, and I'm just trying to get a quantification of where this might save.
I would say it's like not more about the time, it's more about like the access, because in many environments, data scientists that don't have access to the CLI, right? And usually, like the DevOps engineers, they don't want to give them access to the cluster.
This is a very good point, right?
So they can use something like Kubeflow UI as the main block.
Even if you trained them on the commands, they may not even be able to use them, right?
Yeah,
because they don't have access. Okay, good. All right, fair enough.
The time as well. I mean, we can just, because like you should also open the console, right? For each experiment, for each trial, you should find this trial. And just imagine if you have like, I don't know, thousands of experiments, and all of these experiments run, I don't know, like thousands of trials. It's extremely like hard to debug it by yourselves without the proper UI, right? Just using the Kubernetes API.
Yes.
So there's a formatting issue because you're providing a format of all the detail of all the fields that you may want to look at, or all the content. You're able to debug it faster because you have an easier way to see the content.
Like filtering, because I remember in previous UI we have like the filter there to filter the experiments, for example, the names, or only like complete experiments, which make much easier to debug it for the users compared to simple kubectl command there.
Yeah, and other than that, the user might need to know some extra things about Kdb as well, right? Because say if he wants to take logs from a particular container, he has to understand what is a container name, etc. So here, this would be like just straightforward and easy access without worrying anything about the infra.
Great.
Yeah, it's a great feature. I hope we can just we can iterate on the logs, because I remember like back in 2019 we still don't have this feature in even the old UI, because before actually the React UI we have another UI, which is completely different. And hopefully, because I know the Kamanos made a lot of effort to push all of the UIs in the same user experience. For example, like pipelines, they also trying to make sure that user will have the unique experiments using the Kubeflow as a platform. So maybe by using this, we can provide more cohesive platform for our users, right? Which will be great. Yeah. Any other questions to the Kdb? We can move on. I don't know. Do you want to discuss anything else since Kamanos is here? We were speaking about the UI work for next release.
Regarding the last lead about completing the project one, can we also try and prioritize some of the features that we want to see first? For example, the filtering approaches, I think it's quite important to have, which the previous UI had and the current one doesn't. So if we can also just provide a list of the things that we find most important, so we can start dealing with them first, that would also help to get there more effectively.
Yeah, I think we should probably prioritize these tasks here, right? In this project, because we don't have prioritization right now.
It doesn't have to be something fancy. We can just order the issues in the Kanban board, and by the order we see them, this is the priority we want to work on them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's a good point. I will try to prioritize the task here. Yeah, because probably, as I said before, maybe we should try to deprecate alt UI in the next release, like 0.14, if it is possible, if like you have enough cycles to do that.
Will depend on the features that we want to prioritize. I've started working on some features like filtering to bring some of these things on par. I remember there was some bigger features like being able to edit the config map of the entire Katib. I don't know if this huge feature will make it, but let's try and prioritize and define the criteria in which we need these items to be able to fully migrate to the new UI.
Yeah, sure. Sounds good. Yeah, we'll try to do that.
It will help me as well to prioritize and have in mind the remaining work and how to schedule it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So any other questions for the Katib side, or we're going on to training? Sounds good. So for the training side, I think probably first of all we need to make the release. So do you have anyone who can do the release on the training repo for like 1.1.4 release?
I was planning to do that, but I haven't. I've pinged them, but I didn't get confirmation from Terry. So I'll, if I still didn't get up in a day, I think I'll do that tomorrow itself.
Okay.
Thanks, George. Also, one small comment on this. I think we also need to ask the maintainer of MPI, the MPI operator, right? Because we have training operator and there is also MPI operator.
Right. So in the newer one, the V1 version would be actually part of the training operator. So the single training operator will have the MPI operator V1 as well.
I think we've discussed it, but I'm missing again. I'm missing this info again. In the current manifest, in the current master of training operator, we don't have MPI currently, right?
So yeah, so currently MPI operator was separate, right, from the training operator. There were two manifests, but in the newer one, it will be added to the training. It is actually added in the training operator itself. So the MPI operator CRDs will be installed as part of the training operator.
Okay, so for the manifest, if we're going to we'll have a new release for MPI operator. Also, small comment on that. It can even be a patch release if you don't have time to like have a full-fledged release. But I'll talk about that in a second. But if we use the newest manifest from training operator, then I will not need to update I had a specific folder for MPI because it was not part of training previously. So this time I will then need to remove the MPI folder from the manifest.
I just have to verify that with the MPI operator folks, because so basically there are V1 and V2 version. So the idea is basically V2 version will be kept separate and V1 is actually part of the training operator. So I just want to confirm that before committing to that.
Okay, so this
did I make sense? So basically, like like over time there will be just one version which will be part of training operator. But since due to migration, right now the V2 operator is actually not well tested. So that's why it is actually kept independent from the other one. So, but V1 is actually tested and actually it will go with the training operator itself.
Oh, so sorry if I'm asking again. I just want to make sure I'm synced. So it's the training operator V1, which is what we currently consider stable. And this also includes MPI. But,
yes.
But this version was not part of the Kubeflow 1.4 installation.
Yeah.
And there is also a V2 in progress, but we don't feel comfortable with V2 yet because it's not well
for the V2, that's a slight confusion that I have. So I have to just verify. Like, are we actually planning to cut a separate, as you was talking about, separate manifest for MPI operator? I'm not sure whether we have to do that this time. So I'll just confirm that. I think like in a day I'll get a reply and then I'll do that. That is the confusion part.
Okay, then this is a decision I'm taking on the spot. Since I'm also a little bit behind for notebooks, I'm waiting for some PRs to get merged. I will actually comment that we're delaying the release just for a day until we get the notebooks and training operator versions ready.
I see.
Yeah, I think I've asked Aldo about the status in December 1st. So I believe we haven't merged the V2 in the universe.
So Andre, so yeah, this is separate, right? So in the current release, there is no V2 operator.
Yes.
So the question from Kimonas was, are we actually going to install V2 separately, right? Which
I
I'm
think
not,
it's, yeah.
Which I'm not I'm not sure of, because it will be just V1 as part of training operator, as far as I know.
Yeah, I think it's not possible with the current CRD.
Right.
And I remember the discussion that it is not possible to install the V1 and V2 in the same cluster.
Yeah. That's I'll just confirm that. I think that's only confused.
Okay. So Kimonos, in that case, when we're planning to cut the manifest first release cut?
I'll have the notebooks ready today, and I'm also wrapping up with I want to have the notebooks, training operators, and the pull request for Istio and Cert Manager merged, because Katib needs a Cert Manager, for example. So I can't just cut the RC without having Cert Manager, because Katib will break in that case. So in the next couple hours tops, I will have notebooks ready, and I'm also reviewing right now Cert Manager and Istio. So it's within a day, everything should be in place. So if I can know the training operator version as well, that would be amazing.
Okay.
If not, since I've delayed for 2 days and I don't want to push back too much, I'll have to cut the first RC with the current manifest for both training operator and MPI, and see how we can handle it on the RCs afterwards to include their manifest based on the training operator's leads decisions. Does it make sense? Do you think that we can do something else?
Yeah, I think it's totally fine. So in any case, you should wait until end of the day before Jonah can make the release. So yeah. Yeah, because other than that, I think everything else is already like in the master branch, so we can like safely cut the release. I also can see a couple of PRs here. Yeah, a couple of like PRs from Wang, but yeah, he's not here right now. So Jonah, you can reach them, right, to ask about the questions about the pending PRs.
Yeah, so I'm hoping I'll get a reply today.
Okay.
I have already. Yeah. I'll ping you, Kimonas. Once I get a reply, I'll ping.
Thanks.
Sounds great. Other than that, do we have any questions to the training side?
I have a question,
Yep.
but I'll let anybody else have a question before I go. All right, I have a question on elastic training. And I just want to double check, that the elastic training feature as described is in this release.
Not yet.
I think we create a couple of PRs, right? So
Yeah.
we haven't pushed them yet, right? Yeah, so this one, right? Oh, so it's still in progress, right? From Gauchi.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he added like 2 elastic examples. Do you know, are they working? Can we use them?
No, it's not fully tested yet.
Oh, okay. It is on. Oh, I see. Okay. So we're not going to actually publish this in the notes, in the training notes, right?
No. So I will,
Yeah.
yeah. So let me first get confirmation from Terry regarding the MPI operator, and regarding, yeah. So this one, because we haven't added to website also, right? It is still pending there as well.
Yeah, I had talked to Terry about this, and he had told me that it was already in the code. Now I didn't double check in what that meant exactly.
It's not in the training operator, Josh.
Okay. Oh, it's not in the training operator. Okay. Got it. Okay.
And we're supporting this API, right?
Yeah.
Eventually. So, okay. It's interesting because, like, I mean, if you have these examples and if they're working, we can just publish them. I mean, publish this feature in the release notes as well, but maybe we should ask Gauchi if that is working.
Yeah, I'm particularly interested in this feature because, you know, the support for spot instance in particular, and the other operational benefit of not having to restart the job from, you know, zero, especially long training jobs. If those are true statements, which I thought we discussed in the roadmap review, and we kind of discussed the benefits, those sound helpful, valuable to users, and I think they would be a good addition, even if it's if we categorize this as an alpha functionality.
Sure, I'll let me see what are the pending items, and then we will try to see if we can publish in the website as well. Let's see. Yeah. So what?
Okay.
How much time do we have for this, Kimonas?
Ideally, I would like to have this yesterday, but if we can have the version tomorrow, that time, it's okay.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, like, if you want an exact time, like 4 hours plus from now, 24 hours, 28 hours plus from now.
The difficulty is actually talking to people in different time zones. So I'll try to get them.
Yeah, maybe at least ask, like, what was the purpose of this PR, right? So if it is already like in the master, we're going to release this this feature, right? So we're not going to push any other changes, but this is at least something, right, Jonas? So maybe we can just go ahead.
Also, John, I think it's okay. We can mention that if you don't have a PR, if you don't have an answer to, by tomorrow, I think that okay, we can push the release for like 4 days more, but in order to have an explicit answer, I mean, you don't have to quote unquote die tomorrow just to release a branch. We can just take a breath. If we need more time, we can say that we can delay the release for 1 week. But let's be sure that if it's going to delay for next week, that we will have an answer and we can cut the branch.
Sure. Yeah. So I think hope like my day morning, I'll be able to talk to people in China. So I'll try to get them.
Thanks.
And I want to make sure that I'm not repeating incorrect information, because what I had heard from the Elastic training benefit was that you can restart a worker and not lose the work up until that point. I may be paraphrasing.
So in the PyTorch Elastic training, from what I know, it basically like you could basically provide the minimum and maximum. That's what it actually supports. So you could basically like add and remove nodes in Elastic manner. So I'm not sure about the restarts. I haven't tried it personally. How far it is supported. It should be ideally, because since the add and remove is supported, restart should be supported.
Yeah, and also as I can see, they have this API for restarts, right? So they can scale their replicates and they can make the restarts. So probably this PR also introduced this feature.
Okay, I just want to make sure that I'm not saying things that are incorrect, and also that what is incremental versus what's already there in the distributed training today. I see this as like, you know, people that are doing distributed training, probably I do hear people that are running long training jobs and they fail and they have to restart them and they lose the time, they lose the infrastructure utilization. This sounds like it's, you know, this type of operational benefit would be good to deliver. And I just want to make sure that, do we have it today and we're just not using it, configure it, or is this elastic training provide something incrementally better? These are the types of things I want to make sure that we're explaining properly.
Sure. Yeah, I think like we'll get back to you regarding that.
Perfect.
Sounds great. So any other questions, comments for Kelly training? Okay, then thanks everyone for joining. I hope you have a great release. Yeah, because the 1.5 will be huge. And we definitely will have a much clearer process, as I can see from the community then. And in the next releases, it will be like more stable and faster. So we can like provide the great experience for our users. So thanks everyone for joining today. I hope to see you again next time. See you soon, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.